So we went to see Deadpool 2 a few hours ago and decided to share our thoughts about it with you guys. Just letting you know this is a spoiler-free review, so you don't have to worry if you haven't seen the movie yet.
What in the fuxicle is this?
So Deadpool 2 is about Wade Wilson bringing this team together called the X-Force to protect a mutant kid from this guy called Cable, played by Josh Brolin, who is apparently in every movie this summer. He's this time-traveling half-man, half-machine that goes back in time to kill a kid in order to change the future, and Deadpool has to stop him. I don't know why, but that kinda sounds familiar. Anyway, that's basically the plot of Deadpool 2. The first Deadpool movie was a very funny, very meta, and very R-rated revenge story. And while the plot of Deadpool was very straightforward, the sequel isn't as simple of a movie. But just like the first one, Deadpool 2 is actually lots of fun and does a pretty good job of recreating the fourth wall breaking quirkiness that is so characteristic of Deadpool.
Tell me they got that in slow motion.
This movie really likes to poke fun at other movies, Marvel characters, and pop culture in general. Like the first one, Deadpool 2 has some pretty good action sequences. The filmmakers found a nice balance between comedy and action that pays off in the film, although the CGI is sometimes noticeably worse in some scenes compared to others. Deadpool isn't known for its huge budget, but sometimes its own limitations do show. But at its heart, Deadpool 2 is really a comedy and should be mainly treated as such. There are many jokes in this installment of the franchise, and I'd say most of them land. There are also some scenes in this movie, particularly the one where the X-Force comes together for the first time, that are insanely hilarious. And while not all of the jokes work as well as the filmmakers want them to, the real question in any comedy should be, did it make you laugh? And the answer is, yeah. For the most part, Deadpool 2 is a very funny movie, and Ryan Reynolds is a huge part of that.
It lives up to the hype, plus.
I cannot possibly imagine anyone else playing the Merc with a mouth. Ryan Reynolds was born to play this character. Once again this year, Josh Brolin does an amazing job at playing Cable, and he turns out to be a very interesting badass that is a big part of why this movie works. The biggest surprise of the film is how much time it decides to focus on Wade Wilson rather than on Deadpool. What they did was make him feel more human and paid more attention to his personal life than we would have expected. Haven't mentioned some of the flaws yet, but the film can feel a little bit like it's recycling old ideas from the first one. When Deadpool came out, it felt like a much needed breath of fresh air because of the fourth wall breaking comedy style that comes with the character. Some of the ideas in this one may feel a little reused, but one thing they managed to do very well once again was to provide a very different type of superhero movie that feels like it can stand on its own from the rest of the bunch. But on the other hand, it felt like Jordan Dennison, who plays the kid Deadpool is trying to protect, probably should have given a stronger performance. Some of the weakest parts of the movie involve scenes where he's not with Deadpool, and the scenes they do share, they don't seem weak because Ryan Reynolds is so good that he just steals the spotlight whenever he's on screen. So to recap, Deadpool 2 is very funny, it has some pretty good action sequences, Ryan Reynolds is great as Deadpool, and Cable is awesome. It's also a movie that's fairly easy to digest and you don't have to process a lot of information. On the other hand, not all of the jokes work, the kid's performance is rather mediocre, and sometimes the CGI does feel subpar. Deadpool 2 is definitely worth the price of admission if you're looking for a non-family friendly comedy. Stick around for the end credits scene, it's pretty great. I still think Deadpool has an advantage over this one because it was a more solid, straightforward movie and because of how fresh it felt at the time. So comment below guys, what are your thoughts on Deadpool 2 and on this video? We're still trying to find new ways to connect with you guys and we would love to know what you think of these reviews. Do you think this should be a weekly series? Please let us know and we'll see you next week.
And remember, hugs not drugs.